How's it going, everyone? It's Johnny Beard here, and welcome to another episode of Streamer Stories Podcast. And today I've got the wonderful Lauren Kaye as my guest. Here she is. How you
Hi
doing?
everyone. Hi, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm so honoured to have you here. You're absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
So,
oh, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you so much, and thank you for being like so supportive, like on the stream and everything. I always love when I see your name come up, and I'm just like, oh, it's Johnny. Hi.
oh, thank you. Oh, yay. But
Oh,
so do you want to? I mean, there's so much to talk about.
mm,
But I mean, like in terms of, do you want to give an overview of what you do? It's hard, but do you want to give it a
yeah.
go?
Yeah, no, completely. So, I mean, I first and foremost was the video producer essentially and co-founder of Final Fantasy Union. That's what I did for a quite a long time. I really went heavy into it when my eldest daughter, who's 5, turning 6 this month, turned 1. We like really went hardcore into it,
Mm,
and then about like 4 or 5 years in, I decided that I wanted to do something a bit more fulfilling. Like I really enjoyed doing all the stuff with Final Fantasy Union, but I really wanted to give back to the games industry in a
mm,
way, and that's when I started the She Plays Games podcast. So I've created it, and I also host it. I interview women from the games industry, and it's basically just a show to celebrate women in the games industry and celebrate all the different paths that you can take in order to get into the industry in an effort to help inspire more women to join and help
mm,
inspire people to maybe not look at the games industry in quite so black and white, thinking, oh, I have to go in as a programmer. Oh, I have to go in as an artist. Like there's just so many different roles, and so that's really what I want to try and accomplish with She Plays Games. And then aside from that as well, I am or I was unfortunately I am leaving into games at the moment. So I am kind of currently the content and social lead at Into Games. However, I'm leaving. So, but that was it's such an amazing organization
mm.
that helps people get jobs in the games industry, and I felt really I felt really honored to be able to work there with so many amazing people. But I'm moving on to basically just do She Plays Games full pelt. So
Right.
that is my plan.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, you are a streamer on Twitch as
Yes,
well
and I'm a
as
streamer. Yeah, I know.
um,
Too many things.
so many things.
Mm.
But yeah, so you mostly stream on Twitch with Daryl, husband.
Mhm.
Lozadar is the username. Please
Ye-
give her a follow if you haven't already. Um,
Oh, thank
but
you.
we'll start at the beginning now in terms of your love for video games. So what was your first memories of playing video games?
I mean, it's hard to say really. There's pictures of me when I was really, really young, watching my other family members play Mario. I do have like very vivid memories of me playing Mario back when I was like really small. So I was playing my Aunt Trisha actually owned a Nintendo, the classic Nintendo. So she had Mario 1 with Duck Hunt and the guns, and Mario 2 and Mario 3. And then she had, oh, what was it? Somebody's castle. which was a weird one, and then Goonies 2, and then Zelda, but I could never get through Zelda because Zelda was broken.
Right.
Um, every time we would plug it in and like you'd start up the game, after a certain little bit, and like this is in like the first level, it would just the screen would just turn pink
No,
and
no.
everything would just go pink,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of like, oh, this isn't part of the game. The game doesn't turn pink. This is actually a broken game. So, yeah, but I would have to say like Mario was really my introduction into games.
Hmm. Wow. So yeah, you played Nintendo. Did you go to the Super Nintendo or somewhere else?
No, I always wanted to, and we did actually own a couple Super Nintendo games. I don't know why we had them in our collection, but they were in our collection even though my Aunt Trisha only ever had a Nintendo. I wonder if she did have a Super Nintendo and then like got rid of it or something. I definitely preferred Super Nintendo to the regular Nintendo. Like there's so many like super cool games on there. The two games we had, which I would bring over to a friend's house who had a Super Nintendo, were Super Mario Worlds and the Addams Family video game, which is still one of my favorite platformers of all time. It's so underrated.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's just Daryl and I used to actually do a show called Let's Play Again, and we would play. We were playing through a bunch of games from the Genesis or Mega Drive era, and Adam's Family was ported onto the Genesis,
Right.
and it's just so good. It's so good. And then Super Mario World was really fun as well. I mean, the fact that you get to ride on Yoshi. Yeah, it was boss, but I never owned one myself. My first console that I ever owned was a Sega Genesis.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad surprised me. Like I never asked for it or anything. I don't know if I like particularly gave off the vibe that I was into games. But my dad just decided, I think it was at Christmas, he was just like, he bought me a Sega Genesis and he bought me Toy Story and Sonic 3D Blast.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
So your first
I
Sonic was
know.
Sonic 3D Blast.
It
Wow.
was, and I know that that's quite like sacrilege in the world of Sonic.
No, no, I
I
love it. I love that
actually,
game.
yeah, oh, fantastic. That's good. I'm talking to somebody who actually likes
Yeah,
it.
it's a
Like
great game.
so many people so many people attack it because it was like 3D. It was the first in like thing of 3D Sonic.
Yeah.
So it's fun to be negative about it, but I loved it,
Mm.
and I really loved the music
Oh,
especially is so good.
so good.
Like it's honestly one of my favorite Sonic soundtracks
Mm.
because it's just I don't know, there's a lot of levels to the songs. There's a lot they're really catchy.
Yeah.
And the little flickies are cute. And
Yeah.
then the mini games, the racing is really cool as well. Like not necessarily the racing, but the levels where you're free, I guess, is it free running that you would call it?
What you mean, like the special stages?
The special stages. Yeah,
Yeah.
would that be called free running? Like you're just running without end, essentially.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know what you call that. What you call that type of mechanic, but yeah, it's basically just a mini game where you have to jump over bombs and um collect things, collect rings and stuff. It was really fun.
Mm.
But yeah, so that was like my first console, my first like babies, and yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So when it comes to Sonic, then, did you play the other Genesis Sonics, or
Mm.
or did you go forward rather than backwards?
So basically, I didn't get to play the regular Sonic, like the original Sonic, until much later. But funny story about the Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Um, basically, my best friend at the time, Carissa, she lived up the street from me, every morning she would come over to my house because her parents would have to go into work early. So we had to kind of we had like a commute agreement that like she would come over to my house. My dad would take us both to school, and then her parents would take me back to our house. We lived like very close to each other, and so one day she came over and she's just like, Lauren, here you can have my Sonic the Hedgehog 2. My brother shoved potato chips in the Sega Genesis, and so we can't
Oh
play the Sega Genesis anymore.
no.
You can have my collection essentially. So I got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and then we started playing that every morning. And yeah, I felt very sorry for her, but then I was also very thankful to have Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in my life.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, it was a magical experience.
Did you play two
But
player?
yeah, we would do two player. We would do two player a lot. So like I would knew the two player version of Mystic Cave. Like there's two different songs for
Yes.
some of the levels. So like I knew I never got up to Mystic Cave when I was a kid
Yeah, yeah.
playing one player. So I didn't know that it was a different song,
Yeah.
but that it was just like, oh, it's actually a completely different song to what they use in the actual game.
Yeah, same.
That's weird.
That was me as well.
Yeah, it's just really strange that was a thing, but yeah, we used to play that like all the time. Well, we play a load of games, but it would just be like, we played as far as we could get before we had to go to school, essentially, is what we would do. And
Wow.
it was so much fun.
That sounds excellent. Oh wow. All right. So Genesis. After Genesis, then where did you go from there?
Well, I mean, I stuck with the Genesis for a really long time because basically I was in a single parent family, so I just had my dad. And my dad couldn't really afford like all the latest stuff. So I stuck with my Sega Genesis for quite a long time. I did dabble in PC though. My dad really got me into StarCraft when I was
Right.
young. I really loved watching him play and learning about the story. Kerrigan is like still one of my all-time favorite characters of all time. And Jim Raynor. I love, oh, that it's just such a great storyline in StarCraft. And then I played like the sort of traditional like Sims and all that type of stuff, like all these sort of simulation computer
Hmm.
games and things like that. My mom used to have like a Sony Vaio computer, and on that she had like Wipeout
Right.
and like a few other games that were really fun. But I mean, I didn't really get back into sort of more hardcore gaming until I bought my first PlayStation. And that was like a really weird moment in my
Hmm.
life because essentially we used to have this thing in America, and I don't know if they have it here, but it's kind of like Kitty Avon. Like, so basically, I had a catalog
Yes.
that I would be like, parents, anybody, buy my junk, essentially, buy my useless tchotchkes, and then I would get money back. And so I did this for a little while, and I had like a little coffee jar. In America, we had like coffee tins,
Hmm.
and I would just shove the money that I made from it away. And my original plan was to get a American Girl doll because American Girl dolls can be about like $100 or so.
Right.
And I really had my eye on one that was called Samantha because she was a little brunette like I was, and she was just really cute. Well, eventually I had been saving for so long that my focus has kind of changed. I just was like, maybe I don't want an American Girl doll. Maybe I want a bike. Maybe I want a bunch of things instead of just one big thing. Maybe I want this. Maybe I want that.
Yeah.
And then eventually it got to a point where I was just like, all right, I got to make the decision. And then I just was like, you know what? No, I'm getting a PlayStation. So I had enough money for me to buy a PlayStation. I didn't have enough money for a PlayStation and a game. I had enough for the PlayStation,
Right,
and that
yeah.
was it. And so I got the PlayStation and I got my demo disc, and I played my disc forever. Like honestly, it was such a great demo disc. It had cool borders on it, but then it also had the Parasite Eve FMV, initial FMV.
Right, yeah.
I had Rugrats mini golf. What else did I had? I think I had Gran Turismo. I think I had a Gran Turismo demo in there. Just a bunch of stuff. And it really made me livid that a boy down the street stole it from me.
No.
Essentially, they just couldn't find it after a while. And I was just like, great, thanks. But thankfully, basically, I think it was maybe a few months that I was stuck with this demo disc when I had gotten a really good report card, and my nana just basically said, like, Lauren, look, I'll take you to the game store. You can pick out any game you want, and I'll buy it for you. And I was just like, okay, I'll do that. And so I picked out Crash Bandicoot,
Way.
and I loved that game. I loved that game so much, and I played it to death. Yeah, and then
It's
kind
hard.
of it's really hard. Like honestly, playing the remaster,
Oh,
I just
yeah.
like the jumping mechanics are so like they're just rude, essentially. I guess all I can think of is like they're not forgiving or
No.
anything. Like
Oh,
you do
brilliant.
it wrong and you do it wrong and you die.
Yeah.
Essentially in Crash Bandicoot. Like you do it wrong and you're done.
So,
Yeah.
so did you beat it at all as a kid? Because you had.
No.
I was going to say.
No.
It's so hard.
No. No, I got up until the part that I actually got up until when I played the remaster, which was the bit with the snow. You're on this rickety bridge.
Going up and down.
I guess so. It's
Yeah.
like you're just going forward.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're just
yeah.
going forward, and it's just this
Yeah.
bridge that has like bits missing and
So
random
hard.
enemies on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got up to, and I still can't get past that level. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's an awful level.
But I still loved playing it. But then yeah, from that like I used to get out a lot of games because like back in the day you had like rental stores, and we had a rental store that allowed you to rent out both movies and games. And so I would just rent out a bunch of games. And I did this for the Sega Genesis as well, but like PlayStation, I just got a bit more brave. So I was like taking out Mortal Kombat, and various other sort of titles that I wouldn't normally play. Like tech is how I got introduced to Tekken,
Excellent. Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. And then also with that in mind, I did a lot of buying of used games or of like really cheap games, because that's all I could afford. So that's how I got introduced to Jammer Lammy, because I just was like, this game looks awesome. It's a girl who's a lamb and she's playing a guitar. Like, this is amazing. Let's play this game. And yeah, so I just had a really nice variety of games with
Yeah.
my PlayStation. And it's still one of my favorite generations,
Oh,
I think.
same. It's my favourite personally. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean,
Wow. I mean, so yeah. So we've got to mention Final Fantasy, obviously.
Yes.
You know, we have
Yeah.
to. So
yeah.
where did that come in?
So basically, I was over at, so I have two half brothers, and both of them are quite big gamers. And one of them I was visiting their house, and he was just chilling in his bedroom, and he got up to this point in his game, and I was just like, this looks really cool. Like, it's a bunch of characters being chased by a big mechanical spider. This is awesome. And then all of a sudden, he got to a beach bit, and this lady comes out with a machine gun and shoots down the spider. And I was just kind of like, this game is awesome. What is this game? I didn't even ask. I just kind of like admired from afar. And then I went to, I think it was Sam Goody one day with my dad. And I noticed, oh, the characters on the box of this game look a lot like the characters from the game that my brother was playing. I wonder if it's the same game. And it was
Right.
Final Fantasy VIII. And so I picked it up. Just was like, might as well. And I started to play through. I had no clue what I was doing. I'd never played a JRPG in my life. And the junction system is like renowned for being frustrating. I don't know how I got through it, honestly. But yeah, that was my first Final Fantasy, and I was hooked from that. Like, it was just such a fun experience. I really loved the characters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you say you got far, did you get the GFs, or did you just have the baseline ones? Playing through
Yeah,
it?
I must have done. Yeah, I think I just had the baseline ones.
Yeah.
I didn't unlock any of the ones. I went to I got to a point in the game where you have to try and find the white seed ship.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. So hard to find.
Yeah, it took me ages. I had no reference. I had no
Nothing.
guides. I had nobody to help me. I
No.
was just kind of like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I must have run around Balam Garden, the ship for like ages, just being like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Tell me, help me.
Yeah.
And nobody was giving me any answers. So I started wandering around the map, and I got into trouble. I went into the bit where I think it's where you pick up Bahamut. It's like that big castle thing, or maybe it's Odin. I don't know. I can't remember which one it is. But essentially, like, the timer
Oh,
came
yes.
up,
Yeah.
and like somebody started talking to me, and I was just kind of like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. No.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're talking to me in this really ominous voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is really freaking me out. So I left, and then that was it. And then eventually I did find the white seed ship, and I continued on with the story. But yeah, no, I had to go back. I had to go back as an adult to play through 8 again and actually do it properly and
Yeah.
get all of the Guardian forces. I got a lot of the cards. Like, yeah, I didn't do that my first time around.
No, no. My
I just didn't.
my ex-wife, she always told me this story when we were together, that when she played Final Fantasy as a kid, she had the baseline GAFs, and she got as far as Sorceress Adele. Like, how?
Yeah,
And she didn't understand the junction system. She was low level, everything, and it's crazy how little support you had in that game.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. I got stuck on Adele for so long. Second Adele, the Adele that you encounter in Galbadia. Like, I was stuck on that for ages. I just kept doing it until eventually I did beat her. But that was hard. That was a hard battle.
So, yeah, okay. If you had to choose a favorite video game of all time, doesn't have to be Final Fantasy, of course. What would it be, and why?
I mean, I would say honestly still, like, even though I didn't necessarily have the same, it didn't have the same effect as it did when I initially played it ages ago. But Nier still, and this is Nier Gestalt, is still one of my favorite games of all time. The writing in that is incredible. The gameplay, I can get through. Like, I know a lot of people have problems with the gameplay, but I don't mind it. And it is better in the remaster, I guess. But like it's basically just hack and slash. But I didn't play it for that. I played it for the story and the characters and the really hilarious writing. Like it's such a funny game. As much as it's also devastating. But I just remember having such a great time playing through that game. The music is incredible as well. And I think it still stands as one of my favorites. But I mean, if we're talking about Final Fantasy, though, which I know you said we weren't, but we're going to. Final Fantasy X
Yeah.
is still stands as one of my favorite games of all time.
That's so good.
It's so easy to play. I've played it about like 5 times. I still want to play it again. And I love the characters. I love the story. I love the world. I love that every time I play it, I find a new scene, which is weird. There's a lot of secrets in Final Fantasy X, which doesn't really seem to be the case with the other games. Like, you know, there's a way. I remember once I played through, and I think it was actually on stream. I played through, and I purposely got the. I think it's Gata can die or Luzu can die, essentially in the fight on the mission. Oh, what is it?
Yeah.
The
Operation Mayhem.
Operation Mayhem. Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hadn't seen that scene of Gata. I think it's Gata dying. They've always seen Luzu.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Gata freaking out over Luzu dying or whatever. They never seen Gata dying, so I was just like, well, let's see. I want to show you guys like what happens if Gata dies because he can die. And like doing the videos on 10, there when I found like so many other secrets that lie in the game. And like if you basically I think there's a certain point in the game where you can basically walk backwards like through the rest of the game through to the beginning of where you came from, essentially.
Okay.
And the dialogue will change depending on what's going on. So like the dialogue will adapt based off of when Yuna decides that she's going to marry Seymour. I think it's like before that. I think it's like before Yuna goes with Seymour or whatever to Makalania Temple. You can go back and revisit the old towns, and they'll just say like whether or not they're happy about like Yuna marrying Seymour and
That's crazy,
other
isn't
things
it?
that happen.
I never knew that. So that's awesome. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so like I really want to play through it again to do that. But then the other thing was the fact that like, you know, a lot of people over here had the international versions of Final Fantasy X, so maybe didn't do the Dark Aeons. And like in America we didn't have that, so we could go back to all the temples without having any Dark Aeons around to kill us. And when you go inside the temples, you can get like additional story, like additional cutscenes with the summons, the faiths, which was really nice. And so I had those memories from when I played it in America. But like, yeah, it's a really great game.
Yeah.
And freaking love it.
100%. Yeah, so tell us about you talked about a few video game stories about growing up. Did you play much with other friends and well, you talk about friends, we talk about family. Did you play with family much?
Not really. I used to play a little bit of Sonic with my dad, but like I guess it wasn't until I was much older. So basically I have cousins. My cousins are like a little bit younger than me. The next one in age is about 4 years younger than me. And she was never really into games, but the boys, of course, who were a little bit younger than her. My Nana, bless her, got a Nintendo 64 randomly. She was just like, I just want to have something for the kids to play when they come over. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, Nana, you're crazy. And then I found myself sitting downstairs playing on the Nintendo 64 like all the time. Because I never owned one when they were new. And this was like when Nintendo 64 was quite old.
Yeah.
So with them, I used to play like Smash Brothers, and she had the pod racing game, and like all sorts of little games here and there. And yeah, it was so much fun to play with them. But other
Okay.
than that, I didn't really honestly. Yeah, I didn't really have anybody around. I was the only child essentially,
Oh, yeah.
and so it was just yeah. I didn't really
Hmm.
have that sort of co op connection.
All right. So what are you playing right now?
Right now, I'm playing a lot of Wild Rift, honestly. Like, League of Legends on the mobile is so much fun. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's really, honestly, like, it's reinvigorated my love of League of Legends. And it's just really well made. So I've been playing that, but I'm also playing a lot of Animal Crossing because of the update. And I had restarted my game a few months ago. I'd restarted my island because I got sick of it. And so I decided to just dive back into my little island of emptiness, and so play it from the beginning, which has been really nice. It's
Mm.
been nice to sort of explore things again. And then aside from that, there's a lot of games that I want to play, but I haven't actually played really. Like I just started The Witcher 3, and I'm actually finding it a bit frustrating. Like it's one of those things where like, like playing games that everybody says is like game of the year, and then you
Yeah.
play it and then you're just kind of like, well, this is actually isn't that I'm not enjoying this as much. Like I really love Geralt,
Yeah.
and that type of stuff. He like looks really cool. The controls are really annoying. Like
Yeah.
I go to climb a freaking the horse, like the X is on the screen and it says climb onto your horse. I press X, doesn't climb onto the horse. I press X again.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, Geralt, get on the freaking horse. I need you to get on the horse right now. And so it's like that kind of reaction
Yeah.
stuff that I'm like, oh, this is not fun.
You know what?
Um,
I hold that same opinion about Witcher 3. I'm sure there's going to be
mm,
people upset with both of us, but
mm,
I find it a bit overrated. Sorry.
yeah. I mean,
It's good.
I really want to love it. Like I
Yeah.
really
Yes.
want to love it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But those controls, they need some help. They need some loving. I don't know. But maybe I'm just really used to playing like platinum games type games where it's just like it's so good and it's so crisp and so clean
Mm.
and fun like that.
Mm.
But even like Fallout, I had a better time. I had a better time with the controls than Fallout 4, and that game is buggy AF. But like, yeah, Geralt, he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen very well. My
So,
Geralt.
so you play games offline and online? So obviously you got Twitch, but these are
Yeah.
offline
Oh, and
games.
I am playing Final Fantasy 14 as well. That's a huge one that I'm playing, actually. Yeah. Yeah, so playing Final Fantasy 14 again, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. I've gotten all my coworkers into it. So they're playing it now too.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
But yeah, no. So Wild Rift and Final Fantasy 14 are kind of like my online games. I play Wild Rift mostly with Daryl though. That's just kind of like our
Yeah.
bonding team exercise.
Excellent. Oh. So do you play games like achievements, trophies at all, or you just play casually? Are you someone that really a achievement what's the word? Trophy
Like a
collector?
hunter.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like I have a limit. So I really love getting trophies. I love like getting achievements and stuff, but I kind of have a point where I'm just kind of like, no, this is not worth it
Mm.
anymore. Like I basically go until it's not fun.
Mm. Yeah.
And if it's not fun, then I'm just like, this is just not worth it. Like I
Yeah.
just don't want to play this game anymore. Um, I sort of found it with some of the Final Fantasy achievements on the on Steam, where I was just like, I don't really want to do this
Mm.
right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to get like however much gil I'm supposed to get in this thing. Like I don't really want to do that
Yeah.
mission.
Yeah.
Like, so like I achieve to my level of wanting to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, Arrivederci, I'm done with you. Be off.
100%. No, I'm the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So if you were stuck on a remote island and you could only have 3 games, what would they be? And people ask, yes, you can have internet connection and whatever on it. So what 3 games would you choose if you were stuck on a remote island?
Oh, definitely. I'd say 14. Uh, Wild Rift and Animal Crossing.
Perfect.
They're just fun. They're just so much fun. Even like this, like I would love The Sims, but like Animal Crossing, I mean, if you're stuck on a desert island, you might as well play a game where you're also just stuck on a deserted island.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I find the characters in Animal Crossing to have so much character, though. That's the thing.
They do.
Whereas in even Sims, you kind of have to create the personality almost. So,
Yeah.
that's the difference,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, no, they try. Like, I mean, I always seem to find myself as a character who somehow managed to woo Mortimer Goth. I don't know why I constantly have an air about me that attracts the Mortimer Goth, but I hate to break up a marriage, but then I really do love Mortimer quite a bit. So, but somehow it just always happens. I always end up in the love affair, and I'm always just like, I'm so sorry, Bella. But Mortimer apparently just cannot resist the allure of my character. So that's
Brilliant.
done.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Never mind.
So what made you think about streaming then? How did streaming come in?
I mean, so initially when we were streaming, we were doing a lot of like more podcasty stuff. I was quite scared of streaming like games of Among Us because of the judgment of like how I play and stuff. Now I just don't give a crap. I'm just like, you see me mess up, oh well, like whatever. But initially we were just doing more talk shows, and yeah, we I don't know. I felt like it was a community building exercise for us. Like it was a way in which I felt we could interact with the Final Fantasy community, Final Fantasy Union community, and just have a nice little discussion. Like we enjoyed sort of having some time to just talk with our community,
Hmm.
and so we just did.
Hmm.
And like a lot of our there's that whole thing of like not everybody wants to be on camera and stuff. So Daryl and I just kind of thought like, well, we'll be the sacrificial lambs. We'll be on camera so that y'all can just talk with us
Yeah.
via text. And so that's how we started off. And then eventually it got to a point where I think it was Final Fantasy VII Remake, where we were just like, we need to, oh no, you know what? I don't know. It's quite hazy actually,
Hmm.
like all the different games we played, because we did play Final Fantasy VII Remake, but we also played some demos. We played Trials of Mana demo. We played some Dragon Quest.
Hmm.
Yeah, we just kind of tried like a load of different things. And then we stopped when I started my new job because I just didn't have the time. And then I've only just recently come back to it, which has been really nice.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I mean, as a huge following of the Pharmacy Union, that's how I discovered your streams. Because I was such a big fan
Yeah.
of the YouTube channel that I didn't even realize
No.
it was happening. And it's like, oh, I can talk to these guys. They're great. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I discovered it, and it's YouTube brilliant. So
Oh, thank you so much.
so so you probably don't remember the first stream, or do you? Is it hard? It's hazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Daryl said that we did Binding of Isaac to start with. I
Uh,
have a feeling it was an FF chat.
so do you have any like streaming memories, favorite streams, or like is there any games you played that you really enjoy playing online?
Ooh, I mean, I'm really enjoying playing Final Fantasy 14. Like,
Mm.
I'm really enjoying it. I I don't know if I have any like specific like moments. I think it's just been really fun overall. I think probably some of my favorite moments came from like early on when we were figuring out what we were doing, and then like somehow we came up with this massive thing where we would mention Brendan Fraser each stream.
Yeah.
And we've created the Warriors of Brendan, like the Warriors of Light, but it's the Warriors of Brendan.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Oh,
So
sorry.
yeah, it's like no, I'm so sorry. Um, it's like yeah, I think like little moments like that, like stuff where we connected with my with the community and doing like the Warriors of Brendan and that type of thing. It's just yeah, that's probably some of my favorite moments.
Mm. Brilliant, brilliant. So let's go back to She Plays podcast then. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how that came about because that's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, basically I was just thinking one day because I didn't like Final Fantasy Union is great and it was a joint effort between Daryl and I, but I wanted something that was like um a bit more I guess just mine.
Yeah.
Essentially, I just was looking for a project that I could sink my teeth into and like really get behind. And at the time, there wasn't really a lot of like women in games specific podcast out there. There weren't a lot of people who were doing a lot of content around women in the games industry. So I was
Mm.
just like, okay, let me try. I'll see who I have at my disposal and like just see if I can get some people to talk to. And thankfully, my first episode, I had one of my friends, San, who had just joined the games industry. She actually joined Square Enix. And so she was on my first episode. And then slowly I started getting a like network of women to talk to. So I went out into Ellie, Ellie Rhodes or Ellie Joy Panic, who she's amazing. Follow her. She's incredible. Does a lot of charity streams. I found her through an article that she had done. She had done another article interview, and she just sounded like a really awesome person, and
Mm.
she is a really awesome person. And then, aside from that, like I just there's a lot of people that I sort of met over the last 2 years through the podcast or through events that I've been to where women have just been keen to share their stories,
Mm.
keen to get their message out there.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been really amazing. But yeah, it basically just was dreamed up by the fact that I have a lot of things that I sort of regret about my early life in the sense of like, career especially. I struggled a lot actually after having my eldest with like, what do I do with my life? Like, what happens if, like, it's quite morbid, but I was just like, what do I do if Daryl dies? Like, Daryl's the breadwinner. What would I have done if Daryl dies? He's the one who has the job. I don't have the job. I have like I just didn't have anything. And I know a lot of people who purposely don't have kids because of that situation where they want to have a career first and then maybe kids after or whatever and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I was really scared that I put myself in a really bad position. And it made me think like, oh, I would have loved to have been like something in the games industry, something like actually had a career in the games industry where I was like, a artist or a designer or something. I was quite keen to be an artist, but I talked myself out of it because I didn't think, silly enough, I didn't think it was a viable career because I didn't see anybody who was able to do art
Mm.
outside of like Disney, and the people around me all sort of said the same thing. They said, why do you want, like, you can be an artist, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're just gonna work for Disney, like what's your plan or whatever. So I did the smart thing. I decided, all right, I'm not gonna get into animation. I'll get into theater because that's gonna be easier.
Right.
No. Um, so I fell into theater just because I don't know, I love performing. I love acting and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, so She Plays Games is really something that just came out of that want
Hmm.
to help other people not make similar life choices where like even though I I can always see a lot of benefit of my experiences and how well-rounded I am and that type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, I just don't feel like I was ever fully prepared for now. I don't think that I had a lot of guidance as to what was out there for me, and I don't want another girl to feel the same thing.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what why I do what I do because
Yeah.
like I just want other girls to find their place in the industry
Yeah.
that they actually want to be in and not the one that they just get told that that's the only option for them.
Yes. 100%. No, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And you talk to so many different people in so many different, some of them are streamers, some of them, like you said, work in the art part, some of them work as technicians. It's everything, isn't it? So it's just shining
Yeah.
that fantastic star on that, and it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's so many women as well
yeah,
that like, we always hear about like all this men stuff, no offense.
no,
But
that's fine.
it's like the thing where you hear like you always hear about the way in which women are treated horribly in the games industry, and that's not to say that like, oh, that's doesn't exist.
Mm,
It's just that there are women who are working in the industry, a lot of them, and they're not afraid to be working and doing something that they love to do, and therefore you should not be afraid of doing something that you love to do. You deserve to do what you love to do.
100%, 100%. So yeah, I'm trying to think now. So yeah, I mean, I know you mentioned you're leaving into games, but again,
Yes.
that was an amazing thing in terms of, again, you were helping other people finding their feet into the gaming industry as well. So it's funny
Yeah, yeah,
how it works. How it all connects. So I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So that again, let's put a highlight on that just for a second, if you don't mind, in terms of the great
Oh,
work that
yeah,
they
of
do.
course.
Because I'm
Yeah,
following that as well. So yeah,
yeah. So Into Games does like a whole crap ton of stuff. It's very much focused on development, education. So we have a really fantastic Discord community. who have like a lot of things planned, like in the works, panels planned, and they do design challenges every month, every sort of other week. So they have an art challenge where basically you get a prompt and you have to draw something, and a narrative design challenge where we give you a prompt and you have to write something, and then an audio prompt. And Yeah, we just really want everybody to just grow through the various things that we offer. Another thing that we've been doing is some of my colleagues have been going to schools to help run workshops
Mm.
with students, to help them find an interest in games. We go to events and like chat with a load of people. We have a program that we run with Yuki called Video Game Ambassadors, which essentially you can sign up if you're somebody in the games industry to basically commit your time, volunteer your time to give talks at universities whenever a university wants your help, essentially, and that type of thing. And then we host careers fairs. We do a lot of work with the studios themselves, and giving them support for like training their people in speech and that type of thing.
Mm.
Like we do a crap ton.
Mm.
Into games is a lot of different things in one, which is amazing. And yeah, yeah. So I was really proud to be a part of that.
Brilliant. That's amazing. With the many things you've done and continue to do, tell us about like a story or two, maybe about like maybe some of the places you've gone to or some of the people you've met. 'Cause I'm sure you've got something to tell there. I'm sure there's some wonderful things you've done.
Oh, in terms of just Final Fantasy or
Anything. Yeah.
I mean, well, one of the things is like I moved over from America. I lived in like just sort of Pennsylvania, which was a very small town, in Fort Washington. And I met Daryl and moved over to the UK after we got married, a while later. And Since then, like we've just kind of been trying our hardest to connect with Final Fantasy fans like around the country. Essentially, like we used to host Final Fantasy events, where we would meet up with a load of people. And then for myself, I've been doing a lot of stuff with into games, but then I've also been doing stuff with Jinx TV. I did a couple shows for them, which was really, really fun. And Yeah, other than that, I just been to Brighton to do develop, which is essentially like a recruitment, a video games industry recruitment
Mm.
conference. Essentially, a lot of studios come and they want people, they want people who are keen to get into the games industry to come and like talk with them about how to join their company.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it's been a really magical time, particularly being in the UK. Yeah, I've loved it.
Mm. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I mean, thank you. You know I've run out of questions. Thank you so much. Everyone, please give Lauren a follow. She's. What do you want to talk about your socials? Where can we find
Yeah,
you?
sure. If you want to find more of me, I'm on LevelUpLauren on Twitter, at She Plays Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. And then Final Fantasy Union is just FF Union. You can find us on YouTube as well, just Final Fantasy Union. Search it, you'll find us. And then if you want to find out more about Into Games, just go to intogames.org. And then what else do I got? Oh, yes. If you want to check out Final Fantasy Union, we're actually doing a book at the moment. We're doing a Kickstarter campaign for a book
Brilliant.
about Final Fantasy, where we're covering all of the different Final Fantasies. Daryl's worked so hard to make this book a reality. It's gorgeous. The Legacy of the Crystal. So definitely have a look if you can, if you're interested in
Yes.
like really pretty coffee table books. And yeah, I think that's it. And of course Twitch, which I'm Lazadar, which is a combination of my name and my husband's name, Daryl. Laza is a traditional nickname for Lauren over here, so it's Lazadar, and it basically just came from the fact that I just want to be a dinosaur, so Lazadar.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but there you go. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Lauren. It's been a wonderful chat. Yeah, that's it, guys. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.